Throughout the animal kingdom, displays of beauty are used to attract a mate. In fact, some species, other than humans, decorate themselves, but it is not usually to enhance their attractiveness. Decorator crabs cover themselves with different materials to ward off predators, while boars smear themselves in mud to reduce parasites and disinfect wounds, and bearded vultures rub themselves with iron-rich soil to give themselves a reddish-brown hue. But the human occupation with enhancing our looks outweighs anything else found in the animal kingdom. So, when did we start to put so much effort into beautification? Humans have been adorning themselves with jewelry long before recorded history, and historians speculate that they may have been first used as protective amulets or symbols of status. This practice may be innate, as there are reports of great apes draping themselves with objects. Perhaps the origin is practical, with our ancient ancestors hanging items around their neck to transport them. But whatever the reason, it started our affinity for adornment. Another ancient method of body decoration is tattoos. The oldest example of tattoos we have is from the mummified body of Otzi, a man who is thought to have lived between 3350 and 3100 BCE. His body was found frozen in ice in the Alpine mountains, bearing marks made from acupuncture points, which suggests that tattoos were first used as a pain relief treatment rather than for aesthetic value. But it wasn't long before tattoos evolved into symbols and recognizable designs. Two mummies from Egypt have been found that date from 3351 to 3017 BCE and are both tattooed with decorative designs. The dating means that they may have been contemporaries of Otzi and demonstrates that tattooing techniques were widespread over 5,000 years ago. The male mummy's tattoos are depictions of a wild bull and a horned sheep, which may have been linked to status and virility, while the female has an S motif pattern on her shoulder and upper arm. We can only speculate as to why this practice was so prevalent, and it may be linked to protective symbols, status, or even simply for decoration. It is clear that humans have always put thought into how they look and what image they want to project. Certain styles may have been specific to the tribe you belong to or denote your role in that tribe. Evidence suggests that many adornments and enhancements may have originated with a practical or spiritual use before becoming purely aesthetic. Today, we have makeup products everywhere we look, from era-defining makeup trends to jaw-dropping transformations through contouring. But this is by no means a modern invention, and eyeliner has been a staple of the cosmetic kit since ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. Kohl was one of the first types of makeup that we know about, and it was worn by both men and women. There are many different recipes to make kohl, but commonly it was made by burning a wick made of cotton or muslin that was soaked in sandalwood powder mixed with castor oil. The wick was placed in castor oil or clarified butter, called ghee, and burnt beneath a flat surface on which the soot would form. The soot was then collected and stored and was usually mixed with ghee or castor oil to make a liquid eyeliner. Initially, the use of kohl was not as a cosmetic enhancement, but for medicinal purposes. Castor oil has a relatively high water content and can be used to treat eye inflammation and dry eyes. Sandalwood is also used to curb eye swelling and irritation. By wearing kohl around their eyes, they were helping keep their eyes soothed and free from irritation and drying. Legend has it that applying kohl protected the wearer from the evil eye. However, the concept of the evil eye didn't appear until the 6th century BCE in the ancient Greeks. It is likely that the link with the evil eye occurred as there was a drying disease that was said to dry out plants and animals. Kohl afforded some protection against this, as it had hydrating properties and helped the ancient Egyptians to keep their eyes healthy. It is conceivable that, with no knowledge of the beneficial properties of kohl, its use as protection was eventually linked to superstition. As the use of kohl became more cosmetic, other elements were added, including lead and malachite, to produce a green color, which meant that the kohl was no longer beneficial. As the use of it developed, it then became linked to status, with the wealthier and more privileged Egyptians sporting elaborately painted designs that were probably applied for them by servants. The ancient Egyptians were also one of the original users of henna. Again, its use did not start off as cosmetic. Henna has cooling properties, and the leaves were mixed with clay and rolled on the hands and feet. The stain was a byproduct but soon was used to dye wigs and nails. They also used ochre to create a red pigment they used to stain their lips and cheeks, along with perfumes and scented oils to soften their skin and mask body odor. Another Egyptian fashion was shaving. While there is a lot of debate around shaving today, in ancient Egypt, according to Herodotus, it was customary for men and women to shave themselves from head to toe. This practice also had a practical purpose rather than an aesthetic one, and was probably a way to cope with the heat and keep bugs and lice at bay. However, as no one wants the sun beating down on your bare head, Egyptians fashioned wigs and even fake beards to wear, and it was somewhat of a social faux pas to be seen bareheaded. It is also thought that Egypt was the first place to use a white lead-based makeup called carusa to lighten their face. However, this practice may have started from the use of ash smeared on the skin to fight infection, as this method is still used by tribes in South Sudan, which lies in the Nile River's basin. When the ancient Greek culture began to rise, the Egyptian civilization was idolized as a source of esoteric wisdom and knowledge. Just as we imitate the makeup trends of current celebrities, the Greeks looked to the Egyptians for beauty enhancements, and soon makeup became a staple for Grecian men and women. For the Greeks, beauty was ingrained in their cultural and religious beliefs that held that physical beauty was a reflection of inner virtue. This theme is still subconsciously prevalent in our society today. Like the Egyptians, the Greeks used kohl, malachite for green eyeshadow, carusa for the face, and red ochre for lips and cheeks. The next civilization to take the spotlight was the Romans, who styled themselves on the ancient Greeks. They too paled their faces with carusa, but also used chalk powder, and they added wine dregs as a way to stain their cheeks and lips. But it wasn't just the prominent cultures that indulged in beautification. The Celts, long thought of as hairy, unwashed barbarians thanks to Roman propaganda, were actually very clean and prided themselves on their appearance. The Celts washed themselves almost every day, styled their hair in elaborate braids, and wore ornate jewelry in the form of brooches, rings, and necklaces. The Celts introduced soap to the Romans, as well as their fine wool cloth. Throughout the last 2,000 years, beauty techniques have evolved across the globe. White-face makeup never really went out of vogue, with it being widespread across Europe and Asia, although the ingredients used differed. In Japan, a thick paste was made from ground seashells, which made it a great deal safer than the Europeans, who continued to use lead. In fact, having a white face with red cheeks and lips, plus a high hairline, was very popular throughout the medieval period right up until the 1800s. This aesthetic was likely desired because pale skin was linked to high stature, with nobles not needing to labor in the sun. As the lower classes were usually tanned and thin from long hours toiling in the fields with little sustenance, anyone who was overweight and pale was considered conventionally attractive. This concept contrasts with our current era, in which thin and tan people have the money to go on expensive holidays and eat healthily, while lower-paid jobs are usually pretty sedentary and indoors. Body and facial adornments are evident in cultures across the globe. In Native American culture, face painting is used to show tribal identity. Some speculate that it may have started as a way to deter predators or as camouflage when hunting. Each tribe has its own unique designs and patterns that connect them with their heritage and oral history, as well as assert their social standing. Like in other parts of the world, Native American beautification was primarily linked to hygiene, with ground corn used as an exfoliant and juniper berry tea used as a skin wash. In Native American culture, hair has always been extremely important, although only head hair. While Native American genes do not allow for excess body hair, historically, they have always plucked or shaved their faces. However, they have plenty of products to keep their head hair luscious and clean. Sweetgrass tea was used as a hair tonic for shine and fragrance, and several tribes use yucca to encourage hair growth and prevent hair loss. Long hair is intrinsically linked to many Native American tribes and is usually intertwined with their religious and cultural beliefs. In many indigenous cultures, adornment has been a way to demonstrate belonging. Individual tribes across the globe had distinct decorations and styles of dress that would identify one as part of the tribe. The consistent look may have been a way to create a sense of trust with people you may not have met before. If you came across a stranger who had similar iconography or style of dress, you would know that they were not an enemy, but someone who shared your culture and belief system. It seems that body adornment may be as old as the human race itself, with examples of ornamental artifacts uncovered from Australia to Greenland. So why are we so vain? Well, while the imitation of health and wealth may be a reason, perhaps wanting to create a certain aesthetic isn't actually about admiration of your own appearance. It may have more to do with appreciation of another's appearance and a way to demonstrate kinship. When we see a look we like, we want to copy it, and when we feel that the look resonates with our interests and beliefs, we want to display a sense of belonging. It has little to do with what others think and more about how we view ourselves. It can be argued that our definition of beauty is linked to wealth and status, with those displaying attributes related to success being the ones that are thought of as conventionally attractive. However, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and we all find different things appealing based on our own interests and beliefs. Since the origins of beautification seem to be medicinal and hygiene related, our desired aesthetic is usually linked to superior health, which may tap into our innate desire to produce offspring with good genes. Whatever the reason, humans have a long and rich history of decorating themselves. So before criticizing anyone for excessive use of filters or wearing a lot of makeup, consider that they are actually honoring a human tradition that is thousands of years old. How would you like to get a deeper understanding of history, impress your friends, and predict the future more accurately based on past events? If this sounds like something you might be into, then check out the brand new Captivating History Book Club by clicking the first link in the description. To learn more about history, check out our Captivating History book series. It's available as ebooks, paperbacks, and audiobooks. If you found the video captivating, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.